Hi, it's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome to my stamp room tonight. I am pre-recording this video, as I will be several videos in the next month or so. Funny story. Well, it can be funny now. It wasn't funny at the time, but I recorded or pre-recorded this video earlier today and found out I had accidentally hit stop record. In fact, I'm going to move that cursor right now because I'd left the cursor down by the button. And so there was like 4 minutes of the video and the rest of it was a dress rehearsal. So I'm hoping for a flawless performance tonight and that we will get through this and I will make fewer mistakes than I made the first time anyway. And I changed up a couple things and we'll see how it goes, right? So I have a couple of announcements besides telling you welcome, and I'm really glad you're here. I appreciate all of my new followers and everything else. Let's see, this button is okay to push. There we go. Okay, bonus days. We're in the smack dab in the middle of bonus days. This video will premiere on the 13th of January, okay? And from January 6th to February 2nd are bonus days, and that means for every $50 you spend, every $50 order, you get a $5 coupon, and you want to hang on to those coupons. I'll tell you why in a minute. That you get to spend next month, because this goes through February 2nd, but beginning February 3rd and through the end of February, you get to redeem your coupons, however many you have, and you can stack them on top of your Stampin' Rewards or any other redeemable coupons that you have earned in any way. So start collecting those. I hope maybe you've already been collecting them. I know I have. And keep track of your coupon, because they will email you, Stampin' Up! Will email you a code, and you have to have that code to put into their, there'll be a prompt starting February 3rd, and they'll say, do you have any of the bonus days coupons? And you just copy and paste them in. I make a little folder and I just slide those emails all in there so they're all in one place, because that helps me. I don't have to search around and think, how many do I have and where are they? And I just copy and paste those codes into the box. Now make sure to put a space between each code so they don't all run together, because the computer system will not recognize that and you won't be able to redeem them, right? So put a space, save your codes, put a space. You can redeem them beginning February 3rd till the end of February, February 28th. And you can get as many as you want. One of the caveats is you can't use it on paper pumpkin, okay? You can't use it to purchase anything in paper pumpkin, but I think that's the only thing that you can't do. It's just, regular stuff. Card retreat. Stampin' Up! Is sponsoring another card retreat, January 22nd and 23rd, and I think I forgot to mention last time, they are recording this retreat. So if, like I'm not going to be able to make it on the 22nd and the 23rd. So they are recording it, and they'll email you, if you pay for it, they'll email you the links, and you can watch it anytime you want. Now, this particular retreat is quite lengthy. They're doing 15 cards, I believe. You sent us pictures. I know it's hard for you to see. It's $165, which I know is spendy, but it includes all of the stuff to make these cards. It includes the paper, it includes the stamps, it includes the dies or die cuts. I'm not sure. Some of these look like they're die cuts to me. I mean, just from looking at this, I don't know. But it includes all of the stuff besides just just the retreat, and they have um, the recipes for everything. In other words, the directions, the cutting directions, and the instructions on how to complete them, at any time. So, so be assured, if you're not available on the 22nd and 23rd, you will still be included for lifetime, to have access to this retreat. Okay. Um, January, a new product of the month. Now I'm recording this on January 5th, and the product of the month drops tomorrow. It is a stamp set. It's called Fabulous Sayings Stamp Set. I'll read it to you because I know it's probably hard for you to read on the computer screen or your phone or whatever. So these are all sentiments. It says, "You're on my mind. Thank you so much," and "thank you" and "so much" is separate. So you could combine them or not. "Happy birthday, hooray, sending love, just because. There are simply no words for this. Hello to a fabulous friend, and you can do anything." So I can see lots of different ways to use these sentiments and have this. And this only costs $5 when you make a $50 purchase. You can buy this stamp set for $5. Stamp sets, I'm going to say a stamp set like this would probably usually be around $20. There's no images, but between 15 and 20. So, that's a good savings. Plus, you're going to get bonus day coupons, okay? Plus, you're going to get Stampin' Rewards. So, like I said, you can stack all the good things one on top of another and earn a lot of stuff. Okay, my January specials, of course, $20 for Stampin' Up. They're the ones that give you this. You start earning Stampin' Rewards, which is 10% Stampin' Rewards on all your purchases. And purchases are qualifying orders before tax, shipping, and any coupons are redeemed Stampin' Rewards. Stampin' Rewards. $40, you're going to start earning a quarter package of retired DSP from me. And that's going to be at all my levels, 40, 50, and 75. You're going to get a quarter package of retired DSP. And I'm going to prioritize this month that all of I think I've got 3 packages, and I can get 4 people out of each package, a quarter of a package. So that's 12 people that will get Valentine's themed DSP, okay, until I run out. And then I'll break out the other stuff that I have. And they'll be complete packages. I just cut them in quarters and send you a quarter of a package. In fact, they'll come in I thought I had one here. Or maybe I don't have one here. They'll come in a bag. Maybe that's it. Yeah, they'll come in a bag like this, okay? So they'll be all counted, cut, and they'll come in a bag, ready for you. So you get the quarter package. $50, you get the quarter package. You get 4 card kits, 2 of each design, and your Stampin' Rewards. My card kits I featured last week on my video. So you get 2 of these. You get all this stuff cut out. I don't make the cards, you make the cards. You need to have your own ink and your own adhesive of choice, okay? But I cut out all the stuff for you, and it includes the insides. There'll be paper for the inside, and like on this one, there's some gems. It will include the gems, okay? It includes the die cuts, all the stuff. So these are my card kits for January, okay? And you start earning card kits when you hit the $50 level. And of course, Stampin' Rewards. $75 DSP, the quarter package of DSP, card kits, and my new January PDF that I have. And this is the card that I'm featuring on the PDF. And I try really hard to make all my cards really about the fold. and to get different folds, and that you can use. I mean, if you have this paper, brushed with beauty is this one, I believe. Um, if you have this paper, great. If you have the stamps, great. If you have the dies, great. Because I don't send you any product, I just send you the directions to make it. And I try to make all my cards really user friendly so that if you don't have what I've used in my PDF, that you can use what you've got. You probably got stamps. You've probably got designer series paper and cardstock and dies, and you can use all those things with the folds that I'm sharing with you in my classes and in my PDFs that I send out. So now our new catalog is live also, and this class was going to be a Valentine's class, but like I said, today in my world, it's really January 5th, and next week it will be a Valentine's class, and this is these are the products that I'm going to be using. I've ordered, and I already have the stamps, the dies. I have the embossing folder. I have the ribbon. What I forgot to order was the paper, so I have ordered it, and I got a notification today that it's in the mail to me. It's on its way. So I will be able to make some cards with you for the rest of this month. And the beginning of next month. I'm going to really be focusing on some Valentine's stuff using some of these products. And always in the catalogs, they give you some ideas how to use the products, you know. And there's always, I think it's on page, there it is, on page 17 in the catalog. They always have template ideas, again, that you can use with any designer series paper. You can apply any designer series paper with some simple shapes and things that you might have. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of this month, and the very beginning of February will be Valentine's things, because then I'll have my new Valentine's paper. Okay, today we're going to do a fun fold, and it's really fun. That's why it's called Fun Fold. And I got this idea. I cased Julie Salva, and I really like watching her videos. She's charming. And I did make one with some old designer series paper, and I did make some changes from Julie's original card. I mean, her card was fabulous, and she did a great job. But some of the things didn't work very well for me. So I made a few little tweaks, and that's always what it's about with cards, is finding things that you like and then maybe tweaking or changing them to suit your own tastes. I'll tell you some of the things that she did and how she did it, and you can decide whether you like, if you like her way, because the measurements are basically the same. Basically. Okay, so this designer series paper that's featured on here is last year's paper. But this heart, now this is new, because I said I have the dies and stuff for this year. So this is new, Sending You. That's one of the new stamps. Hugs and Kisses, that's one of the new stamps. And then this designer series paper is one of the last year's papers too. And then of course, I mean, we had red, we had pink already, right? So I just had to plug that in. So this is the fold. It stands up for display. It's 3D. Makes this little box type thing. Okay. But we're going to do it today, since I didn't have the new paper. We're going to do it today using the True Blue Florals, which was the featured paper last month in December that you could buy for $5. So I'm going to use that paper. I am going to change this out and use a little bit different, but we're going to feature that. And we're also going to feature Friendly Foliage, this stamp and die set that is new and was available for you beginning December 6th. Okay. So we're also going to use textured notes dies, which are still available. The paper is not available anymore, but the textured notes dies are very useful and they're still available. And then the dies that go with friendly foliage, we're going to use some of those too today, because we're going to cut out this. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this because it covered up the bottom and I wasn't super fond of that. I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give you some measurements. I'm going to have things linked. And if you're watching me on YouTube, they will be below me. If you are watching me on Facebook, they should be above me, okay? So I'll have products linked, and I'll try to remember to put in the measurements, okay? But here are the measurements, okay? Your card base is Night of Navy, is what I use because I was using the True Blue Florals, and this is one of the colors in it. It's simply an A2 card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.5. Okay, just like that. All right. You're going to need a piece of basic white, about 3.5 by 4.25, to stamp and die cut the little bushes things here, the foliage. Okay. Gonna need some of that. If you want to do a sentiment, I did all my cutting using these dies out of Textured Notes, and I used number 3, I used number 4, and I used number 7, the smallest one here in the middle. 3, 4, and 7. Okay, those are the ones that I used. You will need, and so that's for the sentiment. Okay. Let me see if I burnish this, maybe it'll lay flat for us. A little flatter. Okay. Then you'll need a piece of DSP, 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. You'll need a piece of DSP 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, or this is not DSP, cardstock, and I chose to go with Balmy Blue because I wanted a contrast. This is going to go on the front. I wanted a contrast to the dark blue, and I'm going to use die number 4, as I said before. I used die number 4 here. I used die number 3 here, and I count from the outside in. That's how I count my dies. So this is larger than that one. 3 is larger than 4. You have some DSP for the front from True Blue Florals, and that needs to be 4 by 5 1/4, which is a real traditional size. And you need another piece for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4, same size. Just you can choose the same if you want, or you can choose different. I just happen to choose different on that one. Okay, and then this is the critical part. This is the mechanism that makes this little box thing happen. That closes, so it'll go into an envelope and opens. That's the mechanism, okay? So this is 7 7/8 by 5 inches. 7 7/8 by 5 inches. And you score it, put it in your score. You score it at 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. And this will be inside your card, and I have MMV here, and that's to remind me the fold that I need to do. I need a mountain, mountain, valley fold on this. Mountain, mountain, valley. Mountains go up, valleys go down. Okay, and I'll do that in just a second. I'm going to set that right there. And I'm going to set some of these things over here. And I'll be pulling some of this stuff. I've got a few things done already. So you don't have to watch me cut and stamp everything. Okay, so what I did is I took my card base and I took my DSP that I decided I wanted on front, and I'm going to attach that to the front. And I'm just going to put glue on the perimeter. And then a little dab in the middle. Okay, that's where the glue needs to go, or the adhesive, whatever you're using. Perimeter, need some more over there, and a dab in the center. Okay, so then you take this, and just like normal, you center it on your paper. Okay, then you grab die number 3. That's the larger one of the two, or the 3 that we're using. You grab it off the magnet. Maybe you do. Okay, and if you're using glue, I use glue quite a bit. Let it dry. Okay, you've got that dab in the center, and you've got it around the perimeter. So you're going to center this, and if you have, I don't know what you use, I always use either tape or a sticky note or something before I die cut something. And I really want this to stay in the center. I do not want it to move. Okay, so I'm gonna tape it on pretty good, and I'm gonna open it up, and I am going to send it through my die cutting machine, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, like that. It's gonna be flat. I'm gonna open it up because I do not want to cut this back piece, and I'm gonna send it through flat, just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna end up with this. I'm going to have a piece cut out of here, and it's going to look like this. Now, I'm not going to be using this center piece, but it's so nice, and it's die cut, and it's got the little cuts in it and everything, and it's glued in the middle. So this is perfect for another card, just perfect. So I'm going to save that and use that on another card. But right now, this is what I have. I have this window to work with. All right. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take my other 4 by 5 1/4 piece, and that's going to go on the inside. And like I said, you could choose to have the same designer series paper, or you can choose something different. It's totally up to you how you want to do this. And of course, it has something beautiful on the back too, you know. So I'm just going to put this down, and now I'm not going to be cutting this, so I am going to put a little bit in the middle like I usually do in a squiggle. Okay, so I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to center it just like that. All right, now I've got this. This is my next piece. My next piece is very important that I do this right. This is my basic white 7 7/8 by 5, scored at 2, 4, and 6, and I want to fold it mountain, mountain, valley. Okay, I want to remember that, mountain, mountain, valley. So I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to go mountain, mountain, and then in the middle, mountain again, mountain, mountain, and then on the last piece, I'm going to go valley. Okay, so that's the way it should look. Okay, so like that. Mountain, mountain, valley. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is attach it. I'm going to flatten that out for a second. I'm going to attach this last section to my card, to the inside. And because I'm going to be stamping on that, I am going to use a little bit of seal on this. I'm just going to put a couple little dabs here. This is not running. Sometimes it comes off the track. And you have to push it back on. Okay. Okay. So I just want it to have a nice little border on it. There we go. And like I said, it doesn't take a lot to do that. So before I do the rest of this, I want to stamp, because it's easier to stamp when this is all flat and get my stamps in there rather than when it's bent up like this, because that's where we're going with this, is we're going to be making this box thing. So keep it flat, and to make your stamps, I am using Night of Navy stamps. Like you saw in this one, I'm going to stamp with Night of Navy on this. So I'm going to, I took a couple little stamps out of the set, and I'm going to do Thinking of You. Oh dear, I have a wayward dimensional. Get that off of there. Grab something to clean this off real quick. I don't want to transfer any ink. But I'm going to do Thinking of You. I'm going to put a little leaf in there too. And before I forget, I always say this, practice what you preach. It's better to use a Stampin' Pierce mat or some sort of padding when you're stamping with photopolymer stamps, because they need that extra padding. Okay, so I'm just going to try Thinking of You. Yeah, it's usually fine. And it just barely fits. It doesn't exactly fit. I'm going to put Thinking of You like at an angle so that it fits. There we go. Thinking of You. And scrub it off with my Stampin' Scrub. And then I'm going to bring in my little leaf. And I'm going to stamp that off and put a couple little leaves over here. And I can, oh, that did not do well. Okay, it's good. It looks a little mirror-like finish, but that's fine. It's okay. It's all okay. So now that I have that finished, now I can, now this is one of the things I did differently than Julie did on hers. Now, she did show me, or anybody who was watching her video, that you put a strip of seal right down here, close to the fold, but not on the fold. Close to the fold, but not on the fold. And we're going to be closing this. Oh, let me see. Yeah, we're going to close it like that. But what I found is it needs some Stampin' Seal up here at the top. So I'm going to approximate how far across. I'm going to put it on the blue part, because I want this top and bottom also adhered to it. So I'm going to just lay that down. And I did not judge this one very well. I did not, because I've got some seal up above. But you know what seal does? it rubs off. You can rub that off. Don't want it on the card. It rubs into kind of these little glue ball things. And it makes your hands extra sticky, but glue ball off of there. So I rub those off as good as I can. And then I come in with my glue eraser and I finish getting it off of there. And that's the way to fix that. Okay. So now I have my box. Oh no, I went too far. Oh, this has got to come up. I went too far. Past the trying to think, how did I do this? Did I do it like that? I think that's what I did. Okay, because I can't be on that fold. Okay, that's what I did. I folded it shut. Do you see that? I folded it shut and then I glued it down. Glued it back down. So then I can flip this up, and that's what I want, to glue this shut. Okay. I think you can also fold this flat this way and not hit the fold and go ahead and glue these three sides together. All right. So out of that blue piece that we had this 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and I took die number 4, so that's smaller than number 3, and I die cut this size. Now see, this is something Julie did differently than I did, because she used two dies number 3 with her cardstock here, and so as you saw, that exactly fits the cardstock, or the piece you cut off exactly fits in there, and if you glue it on, and then it opens like this. But the problem, and she told you this is a problem, that it hits on these three sides, top, bottom, and on the right side. So you take a file and you file it down very carefully until it doesn't hit. And I did not have good luck with that. I didn't file evenly. It just didn't look right to me. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna make mine smaller, and it'll be fine. And the image I'm gonna use is gonna fit on this die number 3. It might go a little bit off of it, but it's gonna fit. So I don't see why I need to use that bigger die. This will look fine with the white background. It looks like a nice border in there, and it goes with the paper that I chose to go around here. That's why I switched this paper. At first I started with the dark, which looks fine, but this one does have the white in it, so having this background, you know, looks like a matte, be white, that looks good too. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue it only on the right side, so that when you open it, it opens like that. You don't put any on the left. So only on the right side. So if I turn it over, my right side becomes my left side. Just going to keep that in mind. My right side becomes my left side. So I'm going to put some seal down and center this. So I only have it on that right side, like that. So now when I open it, that had glue on it. So now it works, and I don't have the problem with the bigger one of it hitting or anything, and it opens freely. And I just personally liked it better, just using a smaller die, one size smaller. And then I'm going to put my little foliage on here. And I stamped that in Night of Navy, which is going to go nicely with everything else on this card. Somehow got glue on the back. Taking that off. We don't need that. So I popped these up with some mini dimensionals. You don't need that many. I used like 1,000 last week, and that was like at least 900 and something, too many. So I just find some spots on here that can hold some of my mini dimensionals, and I can attach this because it doesn't have to be attached absolutely everywhere. Okay, let's see, maybe one down here. So I'm not really doing my edges even, because this is just going to hold it up. It's not that heavy, and it's just going to hold it up just nicely. Okay, so got all those off, and I place it so it's centered, looks pretty good. Push it down. If you don't push it down, you can move it. If you just lay it on there, because it'll stick just a tiny bit with the dimensionals, but it won't permanently stick. But once you push it down, then it's pretty stuck. So what I was thinking is I used this die number 7, the small one, to make my sentiment, but I wasn't overly happy with this sentiment being right here and covering up part of the pretty foliage. So I think I'm not going to have a sentiment on the outside of this particular card. I'm going to just let this speak for itself. Now I do like with this, I can find them. So just tried to reorganize there they are, my gems. So I've got these iridescent pearls, and I really like them. And white would go on here quite nicely against the blue. So I'm going to slide a couple of these on here as decoration. And just let that sit there. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I think that looks good. So when you open it up, it's adhered here, it's adhered here, it's adhered here. So it stays, it's a little more sturdy and stable. I have my thinking of you. It didn't fit going across, so I did a diagonal. I put a couple of leaves there. We had a little oops here, but it just looks like a shadow leaf, because it looks fine. And there's plenty of room to write right here. The one other piece I have is 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, or 4 3/4, excuse me. And that piece can go here. Now again, you could make all your DSP match, all of it. I did choose to do different DSPs with mine. And oh, I forgot to talk about this leaf. I should have done that. Okay, let me stick this on and I'll talk about it. Crash. So I'm just going to stick that right next to where I did my stamping. So that's just gives it a little bit more visual interest. You could even, if you wanted to, you could have, and I just now thought of it, emboss this piece before you put it on, and that would add a little more interest to that. I just like lots of texture on my cards. So anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about these leaves and dies. So this set is like rapidly becoming my favorite set. And this is the stamp, the main stamp. And you get this, and I just put it on like a D block, and I put all my blue, my Night of Navy on there, and I stamped it. It stamps really nicely. I mean, I almost every time get a good stamp out of it. If I don't, it's because I didn't ink it up evenly, and it's my fault. And then to run it through the die cut, you need these two pieces from the die set. This is the outside of it. You center that, and you'll need to tape it down, okay, to make it stay put. Now, I've seen people, I don't do this because it just didn't work for me. I didn't get everything cut where I wanted it to cut, because this is kind of exact, cutting out in between the leaves, okay? And this is the die to do that with. So I would tape this down, and I know I've seen people do this, and it works for them. Didn't work for me very well. You can die cut this all at once if you want, or you can do what Sue does, which is die cut the outside, okay? It's even moving right now with my fingers. See, this is my problem. It moves. And even if I tape it all down, it still moved on me, and I didn't get a nice clean cut. And I really wanted a nice clean cut to be, because it's my focal point, you know. And you can use a lot of tape, sticky notes, whatever, to try to tape everything down and get it all to stay put. But you're trying to get all this centered and get this centered, because it's real exact, and you can tape it down and run it through, and that might work. I'm just saying it didn't work that well for me, so I just did them separately. I ran it through with the outside die, removed that, and then I put the inside die on, and I taped it again and ran it through a second time, and that's how I got such a beautiful cut on this, and it's nice and even, and it looks really pretty. So anyway, that's how this set works. This is called the Foliage one. Friendly Foliage. They often do alliteration. I should remember that. So that's how you do that with this die set. And like I said, at first I kind of overlooked this set, and I wasn't that impressed with it. But when I saw some people using it, I went, oh, well, yeah, I guess I do see, you know, a lot of possibilities with that die set and the things that you can do with it. So, you know, I'm hoping that you like this card, and maybe you'll want to make it. And like I said, I try to make the folds that I show you to be really flexible in whatever kind of paper you might have. Now maybe you did get this paper, or you did get the Valentine paper, because the Valentine set looks very nice on this, like I showed you. You know, I had old paper, but I did have the dies. So Valentine's, everything looks great on this nice fold that stands up and then folds flat and goes in an envelope. Next week, I am doing a card called a pop-out reverse gatefold. That's really cute. It's not nearly as hard as it sounds, and I will be, like I said, really focusing on Valentine's cards, and I'll be trying to show you different folds. Now, I do like fun folds, but if you watch me very long, you'll notice that my fun folds are not that difficult. And I've watched really good demonstrators. People have done it a long time. I've been doing cards for about 9 years now, and I've been a demonstrator for 2 years. And my fun folds are usually pretty simple. There's not too many convoluted parts, I guess, is what I want to say. This one is about as convoluted as it gets for me, you know. And then I did make a mistake on that. My cardstock went over the fold, and I had to take that up. But that's the good thing about Stampin' Seal, is if you pull it up right away, you can usually get it right up and re-stick it. So anyway, this is about as hard as I get. And the gatefold, the pop-out reverse gatefolds is the same way. It looks fancier than it really is, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do it, and that you'll like it. And so meet me here next week, Tuesday, the January 13th at 5:30, and I will have a pre-recorded video that hopefully I didn't have to do a dress rehearsal on, so that I could get it the first time, and that I can pay attention to my little clock down there that should be running if I'm really recording. My husband asked me, isn't there something that tells you you're recording? I go, yeah, there is. You got to look at it, though. Anyway, such is life. Anyway, I'm really glad you came tonight, and I hope you join me again next week. And if you do not work with the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator currently, I hope you'll choose to work with me, because I would love to have your business. Thank you very much for watching tonight, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.